Yes, Manchester United enjoyed themselves tonight. Bruno Fernandes, the difference maker again with 2 goals. Let's hear from him with Patrick Kendrick.
Bruno, congratulations first on your own performance and the team's performance as a whole. What pleased you the most tonight?
The result, of course, is about winning. We want to win the games, and today we did, I think, everything well. The result is on our side, but we have the second leg, and still we have a tough game to do again in our home. Win again to go through, because we know 4-0 is a good result, but we have to be aware of what Real Sociedad can do, and be ready for the second leg.
Talk me through your 2 goals. The first one, you seemed to just hesitate before hitting it in. Was that because you got a bit of a knock from the goalkeeper?
No, I just wait for the right moment to the ball to come down, and wait for the right moment to kick. Because if you rush sometimes in that moment, you can take a wrong shot and the ball goes out. So I just wait the right time to kick it.
And with the second goal, did you manage to shout to Dan James to leave it, or was it just instinctive that you finished it?
No, I was expecting the touch from Dan James for me, but when he controls the ball, I think it was a control. I give him an assist, but wasn't. I see the ball close from me, and I think in that occasions the keeper is coming out. If you kick well on the first touch, it's difficult to react, and luckily for me it was a goal.
How much confidence does this result and this performance give you going forward?
I think we don't have to look to the results. We have to look for the performance. We know we don't perform well in some games, but still in some games we don't get the result we want and we perform well. So we need to understand we have to grow up, we have to getting better and better, and of course the most important is the results, and give you a little bit more confidence to go to the next games and try to win again.
That's 21 goals in all competitions for you this season. Have you got a specific target in mind in terms of how many you'd like to score come the end of the campaign?
No, my target is scoring the most goals I can, and obviously trying to assist my teammates to score too, because I think the position I play is to do that, to assist, to score when you can, and the most important for me, my target is the trophies, and win trophies will be more important than score goals.
Thanks, Bruno.
Thank you very much.
Before tonight's game, you were among the favourites for this competition. Does that result, and specifically that performance, justify exactly why?
I think we scored some good goals, and we played some nice football, but we played against a good team as well. We deserved to win, but maybe not by 4-0. But we show that on a night like this, when we find the spaces like this, we can be a good team.
Real Sociedad like to hog possession. Were they this perfect opposition for you in that you could then really exploit the counter-attack in transition?
Well, when you don't have the ball as much, you have to defend well, and I thought we did, because they have some terrific players up front. Isak up front, Oyarzabal, Adnan, of course David Silva. We know all about his creativity, so I thought we defended really well to earn the right to counter-attack and attack quickly. And we, of course, the more the game went on 2-0, then they opened up a lot, and we got the spaces we wanted.
There were so many positives to emerge from tonight. Bruno scoring again twice, a goal for Dan James, the clean sheet. I saw you celebrate that 4th goal particularly vehemently. Was that because you've taken one step into the next round, or were you specifically pleased for Dan James to get the goal?
Very pleased for Dan, of course, but every goal, it might be the last you score, so you have to celebrate every goal as it deserves, and it was a good goal. I liked his decision making, that he went all the way instead of looking too early for a pass. So very pleased for him. He has scored maybe on every single of his last appearances, so he's getting back to his best again, Dan.
A different proposition awaits you on Sunday against Newcastle, a team battling for their lives, will probably sit deep. Is the challenge now trying to be consistent with results and performances like this, knowing that certain sides will force you to break them down?
Yeah, but then every team attack you. They do have attacks, so it's about finding the moments when you have space in behind, if you have space in between, or if you have space around them. So we feel that we are a work in progress. We're learning, but with the season it's been a little bit inconsistent. Some games we've not been able to win lately. but the little X factor I felt we got back today.
One quick one to finish. Was the plan always to give Ahmad his debut tonight, or did the match situation allow for it?
He's getting closer and closer to his minutes by the day, so that's why we felt towards the end, of course, on when we had 3-0 there, let him go out there and enjoy his first 10 minutes with the club.
Thanks, Ollie, and congratulations on a great win.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, targeting at the trophy. They'll be feeling a bit more confident about getting their hands on that trophy after tonight, Paul.
Yeah, they will be, especially against a Sociedad team that you probably thought was the toughest draw they could have possibly had at this stage of the tournament, and they've destroyed them, really. And you have to say, a little bit disappointed with Sociedad. As good as United were, they did play into United's hands, such a high line, left plenty of space in behind. And with the pace United have, it can be devastating at times, and it proved that tonight.
Yeah, as Paul said, did they end up almost being the perfect opponent for them because they left themselves so open, and it's against those teams that really sit back that they've been struggling.
Yeah, well, we saw that against Sheffield United and against West Brom, teams that sit in. You know, they didn't end up winning those games. I think for Sociedad, they had more possession. You know, they love to keep the ball. As Scholes said, they had a high line. And I think with Rashford and James and those players running behind, it was just a recipe for disaster. They started well. First 5 minutes, they started quite well, but there was just too much space. And United were fantastic. They were so clinical.
Let's have a look at the opening goal then Paul. Bruno Fernandes. But the ball from Rashford, how good was this?
Yeah, great ball. Do you know, Bruno tonight, he almost plays a number 9 at times. The amount of time he was spinning in behind and running through. So a great weight of pass from Marcus, great run, and he just lets them all collide together. It's a very clever play from Fernandes. He realises, you know, nobody's in quite control of it. There's 3 players, they've all scrambled, they've all bumped into each other, all banged into each other, and he's just there to pick up the pieces. But just saying to Owen, he's very cool in them kind of positions. He's very relaxed, almost ice through his veins when he's got a chance of scoring a goal.
He was cool as a cucumber there, wasn't he? He said he was just waiting for the right time to kick it, just waiting for them to make a mess of it.
Yeah, a bit like Kevin De Bruyne in the sense, in those key moments when the pass, you know, he doesn't rush. He waits. He takes a bit of extra care. And I think in terms of finishing and playing the final pass, that's important. A lot of young kids, they're trying to rush it. You know, they get excited that they're in there. But Bruno always seems to take his time. And to be fair, his impact has just been off the charts, honestly. Every time he plays, he creates, he scores. You can't get over how important a player he is, you know, at United right now. And even in Europe, you know, in terms of goals and assists, his impact is absolutely remarkable.
You can't overstate the impact he's had.
No, you can't. It's been sensational from the very day he signed, really. He makes a team play football, and you have to say, every time you watch him play, every single game he plays, he affects a game, which someone in that position should be doing. And the quality he's got, you feel like he's going to score goals, you feel like he's going to make goals, and he's been a truly terrific signing, really. Yeah,
he really has. We weren't sure whether his second goal was going to be ruled out. It was originally for offside, but Owen, he was behind the ball when James played it.
Yeah, but look at the dummy, Lindsay, initially there. And I think that dummy just shows his intelligence. It says he's just offside compared to the defender, but because he's behind the ball there, that's why the goal stood. And to be fair, his intelligence, his timing, his runs, everything about him, his instincts of knowing when and where Dan James is, you know, when to let that run, and then the finish first time. He makes it look so easy when he gets in those positions.
What did you think of the finish?
I thought, yeah, it was a good finish. He wanted, I suppose. He did kick the ball into the ground. We'll forgive him for that. But as Owen said, it's the awareness of the player. He knows where everybody's on the pitch. As you'll see with the fourth goal, I think it was, where he played Dan James as well. He's got pictures. He knows where, like I say, he knows where everyone is. He's capable of playing that killer pass all the time. It's something he looks for all the time, which, as a Man United midfield player, or number 10, as he is something you should have in your game, that element of risk, and he's definitely got it.
And there was a really nice moment as well when the players went over to celebrate with the substitutes, and he seemed to be instigating that. He's such a leader for them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Harry Maguire's captain, and he's been so important for United, I think, especially at the back. But I think Bruno Fernandes, as a leader, his impact has been off the charts. I think at times he's said the right words after games. You know, when he is not critical, but he's it's about trophies, as you said there. It's not about his stats. And when he tries to bring all the players together, I think it's with the players that are on the pitch towards the subs. It shows that he's really, trying to keep the players together and celebrate together. And that's the sign of a real leader.
Does it feel like he almost should be the club captain? He acts like it in his interviews, in his performances, and in the way he leads the young players.
No, I can see it. It does look like a captain type of thing. You're just saying in the forward areas of the pitch, them type of players aren't captain very often. Can't think of many. Possibly Alan Shearer as a centre forward was a really good leader and captain. It does tend to be someone in them defensive areas. But do you know what? Whoever's captain who's got the armband, it doesn't really matter. You still need leaders out there, and he's definitely one of them.
Definitely, and you said earlier you were really pleased as well that Rashford got his goal. It was a wonderful assist. He missed a couple of really good chances in the first half as well. You'd be pleased to get this one. Yeah,
really pleased. Disappointed you say in the first half, a couple of finishes, and he's not had a great run in front of goal. Great pass from Fred, actually, a great way to pass. And this is a position where I think Marcus is at his best, that inside left, coming in, cutting in on goal, and you fancied him all day just to open up and slide that ball into the bottom corner. And as I say, Sociedad plays into the hands, but you've still got to finish it. You've still got to get that pass right. Fred did that, and it's a lovely finish at the end of it. And
Paul talked at half-time about how he perhaps just at times needs to be a bit more ruthless and have that killer instinct, but he offered so much in his all-round game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I love watching Marcus Rashford play. Whether he plays off the right or left, centre forward, I think he gives the team so much. In terms of creativity, running in behind. I think that one there, he had a bit more time to open out his body. I think the other ones came a bit quicker, and the goalkeeper actually made 2 good saves. I still think he could score, but that one I think he tends to enjoy more, where he's running with it for a longer time. He can see the picture. The other ones where it comes a bit quick, maybe he isn't, maybe doesn't have the chance to make up his mind, but still think his impact is off the charts, Marcus Rashford, wherever he plays. You just want him to see him get a few more goals, Paul, to his game? Yeah, you would. We know he's capable of that as well. He's a lad who does seem to get quite a lot of chances in games. And as I say, I like him. As Owen said, I think he's a terrific talent. He can go either way. He can beat people. He's so quick. He can score brilliant goals. He can score tap-ins. We just need to see more of it now. He needs to be more consistent with his finishing. And there's no doubt we've got a top player in our hands there. And how good was the fourth? It was a brilliant solo goal from Dan James tonight. Yeah, I mean, as you said, credit Ole Gunnar for, Martial was on the bench and Dan James played. And to be fair, his pace, his willingness to run in there. I think the Sociedad defenders couldn't believe how quick he was because they probably thought he was going to catch him here. You would have thought probably in Spain somebody's going to square this across the Bikini Scholes. He is, yeah. Look, he gave Monreal a really tough night all night. You see the centre half flagging, trying to catch him, and you wondered, was he going to square it? Was it on for Marcus? It looked a difficult pass, and you looked like the only way he could score was exactly what he did, was put it through the keeper's legs. And again, I'm really pleased for him because he's had a tough time. He's not played a lot of football. He can be a real threat with his pace, especially coming off the bench in big games, I think. So, yeah, good night for him as well. Do you think at times he's looked out of his depth for Man United? No, I won't say out of his depth. I think he has got quality in certain games. Possibly big games, we have better options than him, but I think he could be a real threat last 15, 20 minutes if things aren't going well. The speed he's got, what he's shown tonight, he can be a real threat. Do you know what? When he gets chances, he can finish as well. Did you feel he really grew into the game tonight as well, as his confidence grew? No, I thought Ole did great playing him. I thought he was the perfect player. I think he knew Sociedad would have a lot of the ball. As Scholes said, they'd play a high line, there'd be space to run in. Whether it was Mason Greenwood, who probably had a really quiet game for his level, but, Bruno Fernandes had an impact, Marcus Rashford had an impact, and Dan James had an impact. So I think you want your players to affect the game, and I thought Dan James had a terrific game, affected the game in many ways, and he tracks back a lot, which I think is really important away from home, in Europe, away from home. Credit Ole, he got the blend right perfect today. And it was Henderson in goal tonight. Robbie mentioned it in commentary that is probably going to be a talking point going forward if it's not already. But would you like to see him get a real good run of games for them? Yeah, I would. Look, I'm a big fan of David. The game against Everton where David, I thought, made a couple of mistakes. I thought Ole might have just lost patience a little bit with him then, and that was probably a time to bring Henderson in, but he didn't. He stuck with David to his credit, and David did okay. He was at West Bromley, played, and
and the cup game against West Ham as well. But Henderson didn't really have a lot to do tonight. He's not really had that much of a chance to impress. He made a save in the first half of the near post, possibly going wide. But he's got to stick with it. I think we know, well, I don't know because I don't see him that often, but Ollie must know he's a quality goalkeeper. But does he have the trust in him that he's better than David at the minute? I don't think he does, because I think with the mistakes David made, he would have been in if he had full trust in him.
What would you do? Give him a run?
Well, fair play to Dean Henderson. Every time he plays great. You know, as Scholes said, he wasn't very busy today, but when he plays, he never makes mistakes. He's so confident. I think he makes the game. You know, he calms the defence, which I think is important. But David's been there for years and done it. You know, he's been the player of the year so many years, and you're not going to walk away from that very quickly. And I credit Ollie for being so loyal to the players, especially the experienced players. But Dean's putting under pressure. That's without question, because every time he plays, you know, he keeps clean sheets and he plays great. So I think United are fortunate. They got two great goalkeepers.
And we got to see a bit of Diallo tonight as well, Paul. What are you expecting from him going forward?
We didn't see too much of him tonight, did we? He looks a talented player. I watched the under-23s last week. He scored a goal and made a couple of goals. He's got real talent, nice left foot. Is he quick? I'm not too sure. I haven't seen that yet, but I think he's a creative player, very young player still at 18. We'll give him time and hopefully he can do well for us.
Do you think he could be seen as a replacement for a signing perhaps like Jadon Sancho, or is he one for the next 5 years?
Well, I think when you sign players for that amount of money, you want them to have an impact. And obviously they believe in him. That's why he was on the bench today and why he came on. But, you know, Martial and Rashford, they're setting the levels for what it needs. But I think for the money that they've paid, they're going to want, you know, pretty significant impact. And I think, but Jadon Sancho, that category of player is already established. Diallo's just on the start and hopefully got a special one for the future.
Well, it's a really good start in the knockout stages for them. It's the best way to get over the disappointment of not being in the Champions League, to go and win this.
Yes, of course, he'd love to be in the Champions League, and it was quite disappointing, really, to get knocked out of that competition. But Europa League's the next best thing, and hopefully they can go on and win that.
Do you believe they can?
Oh, definitely. They're definitely one of the favourites to win Europa League. I think they'll win a trophy this season, Manchester United, you know, whatever that's going to be. And I think if they can finish second in the Premier League, bridge the gap to Man City and Liverpool, then I think they're in a good position. And then they need to go and strengthen in the summer. But I think Ollie's done a good job. And if they can add a trophy, that's exactly what Man United fans and players will want.
Ollie as well knows what it's like, of course, to win trophies for Man United. He'll be desperate for these players to win one, so they get a taste for it.
Yeah, I saw him in Cheshire the other day, and I said to him, "Oh, up to second," and he said, "Second, you know, that's not good enough. You know, got to win trophies," and that's the mentality, you know. So obviously in the Premier League, it's not capable maybe right now to win the Premier League this year, but they'll want to win trophies, and I think Ollie knows that better than anyone, and I think they're in a better position than they've ever been. So I think you know, they're in a decent position and just need to find a way to win something. Those semi-finals last year was disappointing. I think they'll win something this year.